You're watching Alaska's news source.
We begin with breaking news tonight. A small aircraft went down into the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. All takeoffs and landings are halted at the Ronald Reagan National Airport. Now, multiple helicopters, including those from the U.S. Park Police and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department and the U.S. military, are flying over the scene. D.C. Fire and EMS said on X that fireboats are also there. The airport said emergency personnel were responding to what they're calling an aircraft incident on the airfield. Video from an observation camera at the nearby Kennedy Center shows two sets of lights consistent with aircraft appearing to conjoin in a fireball. We will continue to watch this evening. And it has been more than 24 hours since the F-35 crash at Eielson Air Force Base. Now we're looking at the next steps. A picture of the crash is on your screen. The military is saying tonight the pilot has been released from the hospital and confirms the plane was an F-35 Lightning II. Now, we talked with two experts, a former pilot and crash investigation expert, to learn more. Dr. Jeff Edwards says a board is being assembled to investigate. An internal report should be issued within 30 days. And a former pilot, Anthony Burke, who was not involved in the crash, explained the possible mindset of the pilot before ejection.
I have no doubt that the training has not changed in substance. The Air Force way is written in blood. And, we are an organization that constantly is trying to get just a little bit better every day. But there's no doubt in my mind that that pilot was extremely well trained. He was, qualified to fly that airplane. He knew exactly what he was doing. And if he ejected from it, he did it for all the right reasons.
Hear from the experts and read the full story. It's on our website. And a day after the governor's seventh state of the state, some Alaskan Democrats raised concerns over the governor's messaging. Now, the governor promised a comprehensive education bill that would be more than just funding. Senator Bill Wielechowski was part of the negotiations of an education package that the governor vetoed last session and says he remains uncertain of what to expect this time around, stressing the importance of increasing the base student allocation, which he says hasn't been increased since 2017.
It's challenging to negotiate with someone who you feel like you have a deal with, and then they just change their mind at the last minute. That's a real challenge to negotiate a deal with that person. But that said, we're here. We'll continue to have discussions. We'll continue to work across the aisle in a bipartisan manner and try to find solutions.
Now, this session, a House majority introduced House Bill 69, which proposes to increase the base student allocation by an additional $1,000 in the upcoming school year. Cold air has returned to Alaska, dropping temperatures below zero for much of the state. Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry joins us now. Melissa, how long do you expect this cold snap to stick around?
Really only another couple days for the extreme cold, which we're seeing now, and it is going to get colder over the next 24 hours for most Alaskans. Look at those current temperatures, though, right now. Again, seeing sub-zero temperatures for much of the state. 12 below right now in Fairbanks, 27 below in Dead Horse, 22 below in Nome, 17 below in Bethel. Now, Anchorage still holding on at 4 degrees, but I do expect those temperatures to go sub-zero overnight. And temperatures are warmer in Southeast, but below freezing, 30 degrees in Juneau, and that is where the snow is falling. Now look at the wind chill values, down to nearly 60 below zero currently in Dead Horse, down to 48 below Anaktuvuk Pass. Even in Anchorage, the wind chill value as low as 16 below zero. Now we do have widespread blizzard warnings in effect, and that is for the higher elevations around South Central, where we are seeing those stronger winds and blowing snow, poor visibility, and even more dangerous wind chill values in those areas. In Southeast, not as cold, but this is where the snow is, and you're going to see a lot more of it heading into tomorrow. Again, those winter weather advisories in effect, and out west, newly issued winter warnings ahead of the next storm system that's going to move across the Bering Sea, bringing more snow and wind to western Alaska tomorrow. As for your Thursday forecast, you can expect mostly sunny skies in Anchorage. Again, about 5 below overnight with a high near 4, 17 below for the high temperature in Fairbanks. Warmer in Juneau, but again, that's where the snow is falling, and we will see incoming snow into Bethel. And I'll have a look at that full extended forecast here in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Melissa. An executive order from President Donald Trump suspended the program that allows new refugees to come into this country. The order is being met with chill on illegal refugees in Alaska. Many have been waiting for years for family members to join them, and that's been put on hold. Abu Saeed arrived in Alaska a year ago. His family escaped the war in Somalia, then spent 19 years in a refugee camp in Kenya. And he says life for refugees is hard, and most don't want to go back.
The life over there that we have been coming from is not good at all. That's why we left our country to the camp or the refugee, and then after that we come here because we're just looking for the peace and for something better for our families and for our life too.
President Trump asked department heads to look at the refugee admissions program and to then issue a report within 90 days. The order doesn't say when the program might continue, if at all. The Laken Riley Act is now law and will require law enforcement to detain and possibly deport undocumented immigrants who are accused of theft-related crimes. It's the first bill to pass during the new Trump presidency and one of his biggest priorities, addressing illegal immigration. It's called the Laken Riley Act, named after a nursing school student in Georgia who was killed by an undocumented immigrant. The bill moved quickly through the new Congress with bipartisan support.
Yeah, this is a very important law. This is something that has brought Democrats and Republicans together. That's not easy to do. Laken did it. Laken did it. America will never, ever forget Laken Hope Riley.
46 Democrats joined all Republicans in favor. The measure also passed the Senate last week in a 64-35 vote. 12 Democrats breaking with their party to back it. In Juneau, rumors dispelled after possible reports of U.S. Immigrations and Custom Enforcement agents detaining people in town. Juneau police say despite social media posts, the department has not received any reports of that happening. JPD says if you see this happening, make a report with the department immediately. After Monday's fatal crash on the Seward Highway near Portage, we're asking what makes those roads so dangerous. Of course, it's a narrow, undivided highway with few pull-offs. Parts of it are prone to landslides and avalanches. And the Alaska Department of Transportation warns weather along the highway can be unpredictable.
You want to make sure that you're prepared for the conditions. Take your time driving. It is not a section to be in a hurry on.
Most fatal crashes and ones with serious injuries happen in December. The Department of Transportation urges drivers to stick to the speed limit. Still ahead, preparing for a big deployment to Poland in tonight's Inside the Gates. We look at what Alaskan soldiers are planning to do in that part of the world when they're leaving.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
The Alaska Army National Guard is deploying abroad. This week, Quinn White takes us inside the gates to learn about their mission.
A group of about 80 Alaska Army National Guard soldiers are preparing to deploy to Poland.
We also had many volunteers, people who said they really wanted to do this mission. Everybody's very excited, very motivated to do the work.
It's not their typical deployment. These soldiers will be joining thousands of other troops in the region to manage facility maintenance on various bases, as well as coordinating with military contractors.
It's not all about conflict, and a lot of it's about hospitality. How much good can we put out rather than the negative a lot of people focus back on? There's a lot of positive we can really put out there and show a different face of a military rather than something that's more of a defensive element.
These soldiers will leave next month for Poland. Their mission is part of Operation Atlantic Resolve, which has been active in the region supporting NATO since 2014, helping connect the United States with its allies.
We can succeed together as a team because that's where we're going to be our strongest.
Not a goodbye, but a see you later. Quinn White, Alaska's news source.
And coming back to the break, we're going to take a look at that statewide forecast. Again, how much colder is it going to get and how much more snow will we see? But first, take a look at those daylight hours for your Thursday. We're cranking now.
Let's go back to that breaking news that we had at the beginning of the newscast. We are hearing new information in this developing story about a small aircraft that went down into the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. You can see it right there. That's the Potomac River. The FAA says it was an American Airlines regional jet that collided midair with the helicopter near Reagan Washington National Airport. The plane, of course, was American Airlines, as we said. It can carry up to 69 people, including crew. We don't know how many people were on the plane yet. All takeoffs and landings are stopped at the Ronald Reagan National Airport. We continue following this information as it breaks.
And here's an update to the forecast. Again, the snow starting to fall in southeast. Temperatures in Juneau right now sitting just below 32 degrees. We are seeing mostly clear conditions on the road. Again, a break from yesterday's snowstorm. But that is going to ramp up overnight tonight. And because of it, we have winter weather advisories in effect across the region. I'm expecting another 3 to 8 inches of snow tonight through the day tomorrow for all the areas that you see highlighted here in purple, including those inner channels from Juneau south into Petersburg, Sitka, and south toward Ketchikan. Now, further north, we have a separate weather alert. This is an extreme cold watch that is in effect for Skagway and the Klondike Highway. That's not until Friday, but it's for that extreme cold with wind chills dropping to around 40 below as we head later into this week. We are already seeing wind chill values of that level here across the higher elevations of South Central. We have blizzard warnings in effect for Broad Pass, those higher elevations through the Alaska Range and down into Thompson Pass for, again, blowing snow, poor visibility, and that wind chill value down to about 40 below into tomorrow. Out west, we also have newly issued blizzard warnings, winter weather advisories, and watches in place for heavy snow and strong winds on the way tomorrow. This storm now in the western Bering Sea, but that is going to push to the east. In the meantime, the rest of us dealing with the extreme cold. We're going to see that cold air sticking with us tomorrow into Friday, but a lot of that cold air is going to push east into Canada, and we will start to see some subtle warming conditions as we head into the weekend. As for right now, though, temperatures are still dropping pretty dramatically. It's another 11-degree drop compared to this time last night in Fairbanks, down 14 degrees in Anchorage. And yeah, this is even below normal for this time of year after being so warm for the past week and a half. Temperatures now about 17 below a normal high temperature in Anchorage. Also seeing that drop across the interior from temperatures being nearly 40 degrees above normal to now about 7 degrees below normal there in Fairbanks. So again, we do have snow headed to southeast. We have snow headed to the western side of the state, but everyone else holding on to dry, clear, and cold conditions as we head through the end of the week, even into the weekend. For those of you in southeast, again, be prepared for that heavier snow moving in tomorrow. You will see high temperatures staying at or below freezing, topping out at 27 degrees tomorrow there in Juneau. Across the interior, still a little bit of that light snow overnight tonight into tomorrow that we've been seeing, but that'll clear out mid-morning. We'll see sunshine into the afternoon. Temperatures still down to about 30 below tonight near Fairbanks with a high temperature of just 17 below tomorrow. We'll continue to see cold conditions across the interior. Again, this is where wind chill values are down to about 50, even 60 below zero near Dead Horse, the Slope. Again, seeing those strong winds, the bitter cold, and that's the case out west as well. Gusts of 40 miles per hour, Nome, 45 in Unalakleet. Snow, it's pushing into Gamble along with those high winds. Bethel, you'll see it in the second half of the day. And then we have that mixed bag with warmer temperatures through the Aleutians. Clear and cold for South Central, but watch out for those high winds in Seward. Strong winds in Whittier and Valdez as well. Again, that makes it feel even colder than it is. Temperatures staying well below zero across the Copper River Basin into the valley, about 10 below tonight with high temperatures just barely making it into those single digits. Anchorage dropping to 5 below overnight. Colder, though, on the east side of town, 4 for the high temperature tomorrow afternoon. We're going to hold on to the sunshine and the dry conditions in South Central, warming to 20 degrees by Sunday, then into those low to mid-20s through the first half of next week. You can see it's a settle warming, but getting back up closer to what's normal for this time of year. We'll also see those warming temperatures across the interior, but still cold the next few days. 34 below Friday morning, 25 below Saturday morning. A chance for a little light snow on Saturday. And then we'll see temperatures back into the mid-teens with some sunshine once we get into next week. Rebecca?
Thank you so much, Melissa. Still ahead, being homeless during a cold winter months in Fairbanks, with a story of a woman who used resources to overcome the situation and later became the housing coordinator for the city, as well as the Project Homeless Connect event.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Less than 7 years ago, Bryn Butler was homeless. She shared her journey out of homelessness with Alex Bengal and talked about being unsheltered in the interior during the cold winter months.
On April 22nd, 2018, Butler decided it was time to make a change.
I couldn't even recognize myself in the mirror.
For 2 years, she had been in a cycle of substance abuse and addiction, first to opiates and then methamphetamine.
I went from having a house and a marriage and everything else to being homeless on the streets of Fairbanks and dragging my kids along with me and our cat.
Using resources in Fairbanks, she was able to pull herself out, eventually becoming the housing coordinator for the city. In this role, she now gets to give back, connecting those experiencing homelessness in the community with the resources they need.
I still have a little bit of imposter syndrome every now and again, being like I shouldn't be here, I'm just an addict, right?
Yesterday, this work culminated in an annual event called Project Homeless Connect, where anyone in the community could come for immunizations, health screenings, and even haircuts. Last January, 81 people were unsheltered in the Golden Heart City for the yearly point-in-time count, also run by Butler. Here, the uniquely cold conditions add to an already challenging situation.
That's why a lot of people use drugs, is because meth will raise your body temperature. It can also keep you awake, and so you're not as easy to be victimized. And so a lot of it isn't sleeping outside. A lot of it is just walking outside to try to stay alive.
For some, homelessness is a temporary condition brought on by the loss of a job or other circumstance. For others, it's a matter of substance abuse and mental health issues, with many people telling Butler they want to live like this.
And that's normal for people in active addiction or untreated mental health. Like, they don't see anything better for themselves. I didn't see anything better for myself, right? There was no looking forward. There was no hope.
And that hope is just what she hopes to provide with Project Homeless Connect. Alex Bengal, Alaska's news source.
We're still gathering information tonight, but we are going to check back in on that breaking news of the American Airlines plane that collided with the helicopter and crashed into the Potomac River in the D.C. area.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
We are going back to that breaking news that we have been reporting on throughout the newscast. This is video right there. You're looking at the Potomac River. This is a live shot from one of our affiliates, WUSA. You can see the cameras panning around to show what is happening. Right now, we're looking at a helicopter, but we do have new information in this developing story of a small aircraft that went down into the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. The helicopter the plane collided with was a U.S. military-operated Jayhawk. We can see this again right there from that live picture. Hopefully they'll pull back in a little bit so you can see Washington Reagan National. And the side of the video that we're looking at, this is facing to the D.C. side from the Virginia side. We're also having video coming out of Kennedy Center, which is also on the Virginia side of the airport. Now, the FAA says it was an American Airlines regional jet that collided midair with that helicopter, again, a military helicopter near Reagan Washington National Airport. Plane was American Airlines. It can carry up to 69 people, including the crew. We do not know how many people were on board. Again, 69 people and a crew. We don't know if this plane was full. Of course, Alaskans often visit D.C. to talk to our delegation. This also is a very busy airport with many flights coming in multiple times a day, and I know it's very crowded. We do not know what the cause of this is, but we will keep you updated. Stay with us on Alaska's news source. We have more video, of course. We want to show you that. This is video from CNN. Oh, there shows that appears to show that mid-air collision. Let's watch this video again. The helicopter that the plane collided with was a U.S. military-operated Jayhawk. The FAA says you can see the plane right there going up. And also, this is video from CNN. This is over. And there you can see the plane and the helicopter collide in midair. Appears to be happening over air. The FAA says it was, again, an American Airlines regional jet that collided midair with that helicopter near Reagan National Airport. We will be gathering information throughout the night and keeping it updated here on Alaska's News Source. And back in Alaska, it's cold wind chills coming in tonight.
Yeah, tough to see that video and take that
Absolutely.
in. But I do want to give you just a quick update on the wind chills now dropping to near 60 below up on the slope. 59 in Dead Horse, 39 below Nukiavik. Also seeing that dangerous wind chill value through Anaktuvik Pass and into the interior. Even out to Nome, seeing wind chill values down to about 36 below. Again, this is, not unheard of course, for an Alaskan winter, but we just haven't seen it here in a couple weeks. So do keep that in mind if you have any plans to head out and about. Make sure that skin is exposed. Any exposed skin is covered up. Stay safe heading into tomorrow.
And let's take one last look at that video. Of course, our team are still gathering information. We're learning a lot of things at DC at this point. But a military helicopter has collided with a plane mid-air. AlaskasNewsSource.com will keep you updated throughout the night with the latest conditions.